But anyhow, we got kicked off of Facebook. Somebody didn't like us on Bus and
Yeah, what was
Bangers.
up with that?
No one, I have no idea. I looked on Facebook tonight. Bus and Bangers it's not on Facebook somehow anymore. So back on our YouTube home, and we'll share on the boys' toy reviews in the meantime. But I'll have to get it back up and going. But the only thing I could, I mean, maybe think is that it had something to do with. I don't know. I really don't. I mean, y'all. I mean, we talked a lot of smack about the end, I guess, and talked a lot of smack about Pokemon. Maybe they got mad at us and was like,
No, but
"Hey,
we
you
didn't call out anybody specifically, though. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, but the whole thing of a review is you got to be brutally honest. If I don't
yeah,
like it, I'm gonna say I'm not. I don't like it. So I'm not a huge fan. I'll say it again. I'm not a huge fan of Scarlet and Violet. I'll be honest with you. I'm not. So far, I'm not. We'll see.
no, yeah."
Obsidian, what is it? The new Obsidian one they announced that's coming in August. We'll see.
That looks cool though. I mean,
I
it
mean, it
looks
looks
legit.
cool. Um, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Right now, I think my eyes are set on the fall for the anniversary board collection and the
Nice.
151.
The
So I don't know if y'all
150.
have noticed the anniversary board collection, but that's got 6 promos in that box, 3 decks. And I'll have to shoot you a picture so maybe we can talk about it the next go around. But it reminds me of the Japanese celebration cards, but there's also a Lugia in there and a couple other things, reprints obviously, but I think they're going to fly off the shelf because it's like a playboard. It kind of reminds me of the Battle Academy, but just like top tier version of it. So
I haven't seen it. No, you have to send that to me because
we'll see. That's what I've got my eyes set on for the fall would be 151 and that, and we'll see.
well, I didn't
That's going to be a
Obsidian.
blame.
That thing looks ridiculous. I didn't. Yeah, we hadn't really been talking about it because we've been talking about Paldea, which I mean, Paldea evolved or whatever, which we're gonna really talk about next episode when we get
I give
Sam
a
back
magic
on
carp.
here.
I'm happy with that set, and then
Yeah,
I can move on.
that's
So
it, right? I
yeah,
mean,
that's all I want out of that set is that magic carp.
I'm
So
just hoping the hit rates are more realistic. So, like, I mean, actually, I've seen Scarlet and Violet creeping back up on some things. Some of the like lower end, like $2 or $3 cards are getting back up to 10, $15. I know Graveyard's one of them.
well,
That's a pretty cool
it also
card.
has to deal with what's the playability of the card too. You got to remember the format
Yeah,
changes, so you're still shuffling through that to what's the best deck out there, and that's why you see what was it the Reggie Leggy or whatever his name was VMAX
yeah.
flying through the ceiling there for a while, and I think that probably is still high, but so I mean there's still a lot of shuffling for the format change, but that's why you've seen the prices kind of jump back and forth because people are testing the new decks out and stuff like that. So I mean, I know it'll level out, and we'll see. But Paldea Evolve, the the last pod we did, that was my first insight to it because I hadn't looked at it at all. I mean, I know it's coming out next week. That's about all I can tell you, and I know there's a Magikarp in there that I want.
Hard to be excited about it after Scarlet and Violet. I mean, it really is. It's just like you kind of put a sour taste in your mouth, so it's kind of like I don't know. You said it last week. It's like how excited am I going to be until well, let's see what's going on with it. But you're right. With 151 coming, it's like that's got to be what everybody. I mean, I heard October. I know you said Christmas, but I'm
Well,
hearing
I'm just saying holiday season. So, I mean, probably coming late October more than likely. I mean,
nah.
for me, I guess for 151, yeah, because it is the older Pokemon. But, right now, me and my daughter and the kids are after more vintage than anything. So we've been on this vintage strike. We haven't really paid much attention to the newer sets just because we're just chasing some collections that we wanted to finish. And that's what we've been interested in. And, there hasn't been anything currently that's like knocked our socks off as far as what's coming out currently.
That's true.
So I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It gives us time to focus elsewhere right now. I mean, we're still buying Pokemon like crazy,
Yeah.
as you know. So
Yeah. Yeah.
but we're just focused on different stuff, and sports cards is the same way. I mean, we were looking at older sports card, older '90s wax. I mean, I know it's not a lot, but I mean, shoot, you can pick up some of your cool cars that you remember as a kid, and just for next to nothing. So
It's true, and that's the perfect lead in because tonight we are going to be talking about basketball bangers. But yeah, NBA's fun, man. The Celtics choked again. They had a chance to pull off history. They failed, unlike their Red Sox. But the Denver Nuggets are waiting on them. I was telling my pops, I think it's unfair that Denver had 10 days off. Now they got to sit around
well, they went to
and
LA so fast.
yeah, it's like they've been sitting there chilling for so long, they're gonna forget how to play basketball. I mean, it's just, but I mean, there is something. I mean, you got to think the Heat are tired, but like, you take that many games off, it's just like an all-star tournament. You get in baseball, you get in that winners bracket, you waiting and waiting and waiting,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, here comes this little team out of the losers bracket you beat last week, come up and smack you a couple times, like because you just like you get out of your groove, and so but it's a good interlude into what we're going to be talking about tonight. I know Pease didn't have a chance to make it, but it doesn't mean we didn't get his list tonight. So we're going to try to take a look, which we kind of done this with Pokemon before, where we're like, all right, you got $10 to spend, you got $5 to spend, you got $100 to spend. And we wanted to look at like some of the coolest basketball cards we pulled. One thing I found looking at this list that really kind of stuck out to me was that like all of us chose older cards. It's like there's nothing in the last 3 or 4 years of basketball.
I've seen the bits of the list, and I laughed when I saw that too. You can tell the
Yep.
era from when we were collecting. So
Yeah, it is. It is.
all my picks are from when I was collecting, and I remember pulling at each one of those cards. And
Yep.
it's like it's funny because we're talking about you got the banger under $5. That $5 card, I mean, you'd have thought I hit the lottery when I pulled that card.
Yes.
I mean, and it ain't, and the card ain't worth nothing.
No.
I didn't care. It was my very first pull, and I just remember probably a 10-year-old me just like screaming through the house. So
Like this is the best. So
yeah,
that's perfect end. Let's lead it off there,
there it
buddy.
is.
There it
And
is.
I actually
First
bought
up.
another copy the other day.
Did you? Did
That's
you?
sitting right here. Yeah, I've got like 5 of
Oh,
these.
nice. But that's a sick card though. So that's the Michael Jordan, the Fleer. This came. It was a subset of the regular Fleer,
Yeah.
but it was a card that wasn't super hard to get, like you said. But look how cool
I
it
don't know if you
is.
remember how popular that card was in
It
school.
was. It did have its run. Yeah. No,
It
that is
did. I mean,
true.
everybody wanted that card.
Yep. No,
So,
and because it was something different at the time, and it,
mhm.
it kind of it's funny you picked this card because it kind of all takes off from here with basketball. It's like the inserts and the refractors, they're all coming in the next year. It's like I think it was 90, 94, 95 is when like
Mhm.
refractors come in the finest, and
Yep.
then you got 92, 93. You've got all those ultra like basketball NBA. Like I know one of them will show us the Shaq, the upper
Mhm.
deck variation shack. It's like that's something
Yeah,
wasn't
different
around before.
stadium clubs and everything else.
Yes,
Oh
yes, all the
yeah.
cool stuff. So that was Aaron's selection for
Never
that
seen them. So
under 5. Now looky here. The other thing
see, look, you even got a skybox card on there.
I do. The real Skybox. So
Yeah.
these Skybox actually came out, which was epic, and they had Shaq's got one too.
Yep.
Christian Leitner's got one, but of course, if I had the $5, I'm spending it on Brian Stith for 2 reasons. He's a Wahoo Wah, and he was the
Mhm.
original Wahoo Wah for me as a kid because I didn't grow up with
Yep.
Ralph Sampson. I grew up with Brian Stith, and then it's just like these cards were so different and so cool at the time that it's like
But
man
at the
they
time, yes, you look at them now and you're going, "What were they thinking?"
yeah, that's a cheesy
That's
ass.
true.
It's so true because you're like, oh my gosh, man, this was like the coolest thing ever back in the day. But I remember we had the Shaq one of these. Of course, that wouldn't be $5 now, and we did do the pricing, current pricing, because some of these cards that we're going to show were way up there, and some of them were way cheaper. So it kind
Oh
of
yeah.
depends. But this Brian Stiff, as a UVA fan, and the other cool thing about basketball for us UVA fans in the Virginia area is that there's a lot of UVA basketball players to collect.
Mhm.
And there was a long span where there wasn't. Now they've got them back, and you'll see that with Sam's list, which is funny because it's like a lot of mine are the older guys and stuff. But
Well, yeah, I mean, now in the sports cards, I mean, as far as basketball, I typically just go after UVA players.
Yeah,
So Brogdon and all them boys and Guy and
there's tons of stuff
Justin
out there.
Anderson, any of those guys. So
Oh yeah, all the J dots. I have so many J dots that aren't worth anything. God bless them. J dot, if you ever see our podcast, man, UVA, don't forget, we love you, brother.
we still
They
collect.
did you wrong in the NBA, cuz they did you wrong. But speaking of UVA, a kid that didn't graduate from UVA, but we might recognize him, was Sam's top pick for under $5.
Tony Bennett.
None other
Oh,
than Tony Bennett himself. It was funny because I was going through the podcast notes tonight and showed my wife this, and she was like, "I can't see who's the little kid on the card." I was like, I was like, "Do you know who that is?" She's like, "No." Is it like who is it? It's some little kid, right? It's like, no, that was Tony Bennett, his rookie year. For those of you that don't know, Tony Bennett was a sniper for those Charlotte teams. I remember
yeah.
with Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson, and it was like Charlotte had some fun teams back in the day. Kendall Gill, and then of course they messed up and didn't draft Kobe Bryant, but that's for a whole other story. But yeah, Charlotte had some solid squads back in the day. So if you're looking for a $5 pickup, especially people in the UVA area. Sam, I'm glad Sam put this on the list because there's a lot of people that probably don't know that Tony Bennett has a rookie card, and it's only $5. And this is it's a pretty sweet card. Skybox though.
Yeah.
We,
I mean, that's an easy pickup. And if you go to a UVA game, you bump into them, get them sign it. There you
yeah,
go.
exactly. It's a good one. So let's move on up to $10 cards. So who did Aaron get for the $10? Now it was hard to find a picture of this,
That's a hard
and
card to find a picture of.
it is because it's a hologram. It's the Michael Jordan hologram. So
It
you
was the
remember back in
first
the day,
holograms.
yeah, you could move the card and it would like have a different picture, or it would show him dunking, or it would show him running down the court. And dude, these were awesome. And I'm so happy you picked this one
Well, they
because
came out in stickers in baseball first, and then
yes, I do remember that. That's right.
when they finally put them into basketball sets, I mean, then they weren't stickers on top of it; they were actual cards.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, people. I mean, I remember kids be fighting on the playground over these things. I
Yeah,
mean,
I remember the baseball like it was the logo of the baseball team.
yeah,
The
I had the
Milwaukee
Atlanta. I
Brewer
was a Braves
ones.
fan, so I had a bunch of Atlanta Braves ones. So
I didn't even like the Brewers, but remember the Brewers had like a glove as their logo? That thing was
I actually
sick.
have a full set of those still sitting over here.
Oh, dude, my pops would love that. Like, he loved those foil stickers, man. Those things were awesome. But you're right. This was the actual card, though, right? This wasn't the
Yeah,
sticker.
yeah.
This is when they were bringing out the card. So once again, it was like this was the beginning of like something brand new. And I think
Well, I mean,
basketball
this
killed
kind of
it.
yeah, this kind of led way to like your refractors and your different
Yeah.
versions of a card, and then with the foiling of the cards, I think and the Upper Deck, I think at the time was ahead of their time. I
Oh
mean, you
yeah.
gotta think when Upper Deck came out, I mean, they kind of blew the competition away compared to, everybody was going after Upper Deck cards just because they had the newer. They were kind of, like I said, ahead of the design pool there. And I'm not saying that Tops and Bowman and Skybox weren't, but I don't know. Upper Deck cards in the early '90s were hitting a lot differently. So
Oh my God, they had it. Well, I mean, they killed it with the Griffey rookie. So the Griffey rookie, like, kind of
yeah,
set them off for all sports. But yeah, no, it was crazy how Upper Deck was killing it. And then Skybox Fleer kind of came along with Skybox, and that kind of got them going too. But
yeah,
yeah, Tops
yeah,
wasn't even relevant until what 94, 95, I think was their first set, and
yeah,
that sucked.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was Jason Kidd's rookie year. It was like their first year out, but of course they had Kobe save them, so they ended up getting some help. This card was my holy grail. It's
I had that
unbelievable.
card. I had
It's
that card.
dude, it's unbelievable. This card's under $10. Speaking of when they changed stuff, Fleer Ultra came out 98, 99. Fleer Ultra The rookies were inserted one every 3 packs. They had super rare short prints. You had the gold medallions. It wasn't
Mhm.
really numbered card per se. There were some numbered cards in like the late 90s, but it was really more like one in every 288 packs or one in every, however many packs they were.
Right.
But the rookies were like 1 in 3 packs. This was the first $5 pack of cards I can remember was 98.99 Fleer Ultra because everyone was chasing Vince Carter. Everyone was chasing Antoine Jameson, I remember. And then eventually it became Dirk Nowitzki, who was also in this. And Dirk has a really funny card. See how
I was
ugly?
chasing Vince. I
Yeah, but
remember.
it was Vince, dude. Vince was just so good. Oh my god, that dude was so good. But this is still I
This
still
was
have
right
one.
around the time for me personally. Basketball was winding down for me. Like
Right.
I wasn't buying a whole by like 2000. I was kind of done with basketball. I had stopped buying it. I was buying up to 98, 99. 2000, 2001, but I do remember chasing after Vince Carter. I remember finally getting that rookie card. And to be honest with you, I think I bought the rookie card. I didn't even pull it just because I got
Yeah.
tired of trying to pull it. So,
Well, it was every bit of $50, which was outrageous at the
yeah, I
time.
want to say
Like
I paid about $80 for that card.
yeah,
So,
it was outrageously overpriced at the time. Like, but the fact that you can get it for under $10 now is also outrageous. So
yeah.
it's kind of got a little bit of both right there, where you're like, I can't believe this card's only $10 now. All right, so Peas, we finally break into the new millennium
DeAndre.
with our cards under $10, and Sam went
That's a
with
sick card,
DeAndre
actually.
Hunter. That
Mm.
he picked this card specifically. He said he loved the card, so it's like it's a red prism, and so it is a short print a little bit. But DeAndre Hunter's had a good career, man. He's done a lot of good things in the NBA. I still remember when he got picked so high. I was like, man, he got picked really, really high in the draft. It's like I don't
I
know if
love
he's
this
all
guy, dude.
that. He's good, but I don't know if he's that good. I thought, speaking back, Justin Anderson, if you see this podcast, still think you better, bro. We got you, J. Dot. But no, this is cool because, like, I mean, it's not a numbered card, it's not an autograph card, but it's still under $10. It's a nice, clean card. It's a short print. But yeah, for under $10, you can't really go wrong. I mean, looking at that guy right there, he's had a solid NBA
I like
career.
it. I already want to go pick it up. Mm.
Yep, right. And go grab it after the show. All right, so now we can get a little more, have a little more fun with these. When you're looking at our favorite basketball bangers under $50, you got, dude, just talk about it. Like I talked about it earlier, but this card was the beginning of the chaos of hobby sports for me.
Yep.
It's nuts. It's like,
Dude, I remember pulling I remember pulling that card. Um, and at the
we
time,
bought it. I'm not gonna lie, we never pulled it. We had to buy this one,
at the
no
time,
doubt.
I think I pulled that at what was it, baseball Woodbrook. The old hobby
Oh yeah,
shop.
baseball card,
Yep,
etc.
yep.
Yeah, yeah.
That's I think exactly where we where we bought that one. I'm pretty sure it might have been Cab. I could. Those were the only two spots I went to for
Yeah.
basketball. So other than I'd pick up the pack here and there, like the food line when my mom was going through the grocery store. But other than that, most of my cards were bought there. But it's a sick card. I still have it to this day.
Great card.
All the cards I actually put on my list, I actually pulled them all. So
That's
and still
sick.
have them to this day. So it's
I could lie and tell you I do, but once you see my no limit card, I don't have that card. I'm not gonna
you don't have the no limit.
lie.
I
When you
haven't
see
seen
my
your list, so I don't.
yeah,
Your stuff is all new.
when you see my no limit card, you're gonna know exactly why I don't have this
I'm
card.
sure I could have picked a bunch of something else on the no limit card, but I just went with the card that I knew was high that I had physically
Yeah.
pulled. So
So this one I did pull. This is one of my
I remember
favorite
that
sets. This was 97, 98 Z Force. Z
See, I
Force.
didn't open much of that.
Yeah, this was like the first time they had the essential credentials in Z Force. So those were the numbered cards that, like, first time coming out. You look at some of these cards on eBay and you're like, "Oh my god." But the big man on court, Was
Oh,
one in
Penny
every.
Hardaway.
Yeah, this was one in every 288 packs,
Really?
which at the time was like, holy moly! Like if you hit this thing, you were like, oh my gosh, I just won the lottery. I think it's still worth about right around like I think they're selling like 40-50 bucks for the penny. If you've got this of Jordan, it's like 700-800 bucks. Same
Oh, wow.
card. It's not numbered. It's not autoed. Nothing. It's just it was that rare. And then of course, if you look at it, how it's got like the die cut to get one in good shape is, I mean, damn near impossible
Right.
because
Yeah.
all those edges, which is probably why they got rid of these cards. Because when you put all those edges on them, they're gonna get dinged up. I mean, all the die cuts. I mean, there's tons of die cuts over the year I had in football and everything. Those die cuts always end up getting dinged somewhere. So it was,
Right.
and plus back in the day, you didn't have top loaders and penny sleeves all over the place, ready to go. Like boom, 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 boom. Things were
Nope,
expensive.
you had them plastic nine thing binders in a freaking half-inch ring.
Yep, and that's all you
Falling
had.
apart.
So this card was really, really cool for me. Anybody who doesn't wants to go through some vintage basketball, if you ever see 97, 98 Z-Force, if anyone's got it unopened, wow, that was shoo. That set was fun, man. It really was. That was Tim Duncan's rookie year, but that was irrelevant. They had all the big names in it, so it was really, really cool. Peas brought out the first rookie, so you guys both brought out a rookie for your $100 and under. But this was a sick card. AI sometimes gets forgotten, man. This was Skybox Premium. This was 96, 97. So, of course, Kobe was in this year too. But this one's under 50. So you can pick this up for like 20-30 bucks. And it's a sick Allen Iverson card. It's funny looking at AI, like how young he was in these pictures, because you only remember AI from like his Sixers days. It's like you just think about the dreadlocks and the shorts hanging to his feet.
I know if
Like
you watch his earlier films or earlier things, you're like, that ain't him. That ain't
yeah,
him.
yeah, doesn't even look like him. It doesn't even look like him at Georgetown. But dude, I mean, if that guy would have been 4 inches taller, he would have been Michael Jordan. Like that guy was so good. There, like people talk about LeBron and talk about other people.
No, I
Like,
mean
I mean,
his ball handling skills were probably. I mean, I don't think anybody to this date can catch him.
yeah, I'm pretty sure Michael Jordan had paid to have it removed from the internet because he crossed up Michael Jordan and put him on his
Oh
ass
no,
his
it's still
rookie
on
year.
there because
I
I
was
see
like,
it.
say, yeah,
On my
I still
Facebook all
remember
the
that
time.
crossover, and Jordan just fucking hit the floor. I'm like, oh, look at this.
Yeah,
This
broken
guy ain't
ankle.
no joke. But it was a fun one. And that's a good one. All right, so bangers under $100. This is where it starts to get fun. I went with mine first. LeBron.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I know. So if anybody knows me, I was a LeBron hater, right? Like I'm like, cause I'm a Bulls fan. I am the biggest Bulls fan. I live and die by my terrible Bulls, and it's because Jordan gave us so much fun in my youth. But when he went back to Cleveland, won a championship the right way, I kind of got over it. I do think if you're gonna be an NBA collector, you got to have at least one LeBron rookie, and they're all outrageously priced. Like they are just stupid. It's insane how much LeBron rookies cost. But this one was a UD MVP one, and like you said, I pulled this one, so that's why it kind of has a little more special, you know, specialness to
I'll
me.
let you have that one.
Yeah. So when I pulled this one. I pulled his Matrix one. I pulled a few other. I've sold all of them except for this one. So this is a cool one I've kind of held on to. UD MVP also was when things were starting to get expensive. And I don't know if you remember UD MVP, but it was only $3 a pack. So it was like their cheap product. And you could still get autos and jerseys in it. So it was still
I don't
cool.
think I was actually collecting by then. I think I had stopped collecting.
That's right.
Anything pretty much by then.
So this was a big hit for me, and I think it's a good, easy add to your collection that's under $100. So you can't really complain too much about it. Now, was this one you or was this one Peas? Because y'all had very similar here.
To pull mine up, I know it was a Kobe rookie, but can't remember.
I think
I know I had that one.
I think you went with the tops, right? Because yeah, let's
I'm
see.
pretty sure mine was tops.
Yeah,
No, it
yeah, it
was
was,
tops.
it
Yeah,
was, it was.
because I
So
know I don't have that one. Well, the one that pees just
yeah, well, he acts like you can get this car for $100, but good luck.
shit.
but, but no, you can technically. It's technically only worth that much, but finding one in good shape is the problem.
Right.
But yeah, this is his tops rookie.
And
So
see that's and this is just regular tops. Like I
yep,
mean,
just
it's
regular. Yep.
just base tops. Um, and I remember pulling this one, and when it was a big deal when Kobe was drafted. I mean, you got to remember. I mean, straight out of high school, so I mean, it was huge. I mean, there's a lot of talk. So when you were able to finally pull this guy's card that you hear on the news and everybody talking about him, I was excited. Did I know he was going to be the player he was? Had no clue.
No idea.
I mean, everybody had high hopes for him, and everybody was comparing him to Jordan. I mean, they started comparing him to Jordan early.
Really.
I mean,
Mhm.
early, and you're going, "There's no way," because Jordan, in my eyes, was God on the basketball court. I mean,
Well,
at that age,
he
So
damn near was.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they didn't call him Black Jesus for anything. So,
No, exactly, exactly. Just
and I'm with you. I mean, I was a Atlanta Hawks fan, and that's because I just went to that was my first NBA game to go to, and so that's why I was like, I'm a Hawks fan, but I love the Bulls. I mean,
yeah,
Rodman, Pittman. I mean,
it was
MJ.
hard
If
not
you
to.
weren't a Bulls fan, in as a kid, I mean, when you're 10, 11 years old, and you're watching Space Jam or you watching Michael Jordan dance with Michael Jackson on the TV, and
I
I
want
mean,
to be
Michael
like
Jordan.
Mike.
Yeah, Michael Jordan was everywhere. I mean,
Yeah,
so you could not help but not be a fan. So,
I still wore tidy whities into my 20s because of Michael Jordan. I'm not gonna lie. The Hanes commercial, you know what I'm
and
saying?
don't get me wrong, I was a Penny Hardaway fan. I love Penny. I love those Sprite commercials.
No diggity. You got to
uh,
bag them up. Hey,
yeah,
hey. Yeah.
so
No, Penny was good, man. If Penny wouldn't have got hurt, Penny was like kind of like he was like Michael Jordan's little stepchild in the 90s. Like he was good, man. He was really really good. So
I
it's funny
mean,
you bring up Penny because
yeah.
Penny's gonna be on one of my lists here in a second. But
Oh, is he?
Sam went with the top's finest, which is
I
that
got you.
card at the time was whew, it was tough. It was tough to find this one. This thing, and we were just talking about
Yeah, it
refractors
was tough to find the top's finest to begin with
in
because I
general.
remember, I mean, it sold quickly just because his card was in it. So I mean,
Yep.
it was hard to find then
Yeah.
when the stuff came out, and that's why I think I went with base set because that was all I could find.
Yeah.
So
No, it was. It was hard to find, and it was an expensive pack too at the time. Like you think, like 97, like $10 a pack was a ton for a pack of cards, man. Like that was a
right, I mean, it
lot of
doesn't sound like a
money.
lot today, but back then that's a
No,
lot.
it was, and it makes us sound really, really old. But inflation since COVID has made everything stupid. So these prices like are hard to comprehend for somebody that didn't live in 1997. Like it's like you can't even understand. Like $10 could get you a lot of stuff in 1997. That's not even a
Shit, that's
joke.
a tank
Like
full of gas. We talking about?
I know. I mean, for real. I mean, damn near. It's like but I like this card. I do. I was glad he put this on there. I was having a hard time finding it for under 100. I had to text him. I'm like, "Are you sure, man? You sure this ain't?" It's like, but yep, it was. It was on there. I found it. But we'll move on as we're getting ready to close out here on the bangers. The basketball card that I could choose if I had absolutely no cap on my money. Now, in fairness to Aaron, Aaron chose cards he owns. So I appreciate him for doing that. I did not, and I promise you Sam did not, because Sam's card's worth like Sam's card's priceless, but not sure which one comes first. Oh, yours comes first. Good, cool. So tell me about the old East West Refractor, bro, because this thing was a solid card too.
I now this one I did pull in Woodbrook,
Yeah.
um, because the Savage was trying to buy it off me when I pulled it. So, um, and to be honest with you, I actually went into the shop that day looking for NASCAR cards for a birthday, and got to talking to them because I was in there every week, and just like I was in a cab and buying cards, but they talked me into buying, some tops that day, and I don't remember how much money I spent. I remember my wife at the time was pissed when I got home. Uh, um, but I think one of the second to last packs that I opened, I pulled this card, and it was the refractor version.
That's
Uh,
crazy.
it's a beautiful card. I mean, basically two cards in one. I mean, the front and the back, symbolize both the front. It's there's no back of the card really, and I mean,
Yeah.
it was hard to display that card just because you're like you got Kobe on one side, and Jordan on the other. I mean, it's a beautiful card, and I mean, I know they're probably in great condition. They're like $3,000 or $4,000. I mean, graded in like PSA 10s, somewhere around there. Raws, I don't know. I would say probably a couple thousand maybe, but
Yeah.
probably my biggest pull in basketball to this date, other than, um, yeah, I mean, card value wise, I mean, I've got some other cards from like Magic's rookie cards and Larry Bird rookie cards and stuff like that. But
Nothing like
coolest card
this
I've
to
ever
pull.
pulled in my life was probably that one. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I didn't put my coolest card I ever pulled on there. I did get a jersey card of Jordan
see,
and
I
Kobe.
never pulled a jersey card or an auto of Jordan.
I
And
did.
don't get me wrong, I opened a lot of basketball, but I also opened a lot more baseball than basketball
Right.
during that time. So, but yeah,
No, it was a hard pull. So, but I got that out of SP Authentic, I
I was going to
think.
say it had to be SP.
Yeah,
So,
it was out of that, and it was still just a jersey. It was numbered out of 25, and at the time, it was worth a couple hundred. And I think over the years, I sold that guy, but that was probably my best actual pull. Um, my no
you're
cap,
yours?
yes, is a bit of a cheat code,
Wow.
right? So this was in UD Exquisite. Obviously, it's a one of one, but it had Michael Jordan, LeBron James,
I mean, if you stop with just the first part of that card,
Larry Bird. Yes.
yeah.
Then you go to, I think it's a Jerry West,
Hmm.
Magic Johnson, Hakeem Olajuwon. I want to say that's Dennis Rodman. I'm sorry, I can't really see it. And I forget who the Ohio State cat is. That's the big dude. I forget his name, the big center. And then you got Larry Johnson. For people who don't remember, was just ridiculous at
Charlie,
UNLV.
he played
Yeah.
with Penny.
Yep. Yep.
Dynamic duo.
Yep. Then you got Penny on there. You got Julius Irvin on there. And I believe that's, if it's not AI, it's Alonzo Mourning or AI for the Georgetown. So I found this card,
It
and
looks like one.
I cannot believe that they got all of these autos on a card. And of course, it's a booklet. So when you open it, you have to open it all the
That
way
kind of
out.
reminds me of that one. I think it's Panini that had that one for basketball. I think it might have been football, baseball, where they had 50 signatures in one booklet. Have you ever seen that thing?
I think I have seen it. Yeah, it's like out of control. It's just
Yeah, it's a
ridiculous.
1-on-1, 50 freaking signatures in one booklet.
But like, can you imagine opening a pack of cards and this being inside of it? Like, I would just probably quit collecting. I'd be like, so it's been on sale on eBay for a long time. People have been trying to sell it, but it's got a $2 million asking price, which is outrageous. No one's going to pay that for it. I mean, it's a cool piece of memorabilia. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, there is no price on it. That's
Are they
why
all sticker autos?
I
Looks
do
like
believe. Yeah, they're all sticker autos. So, but it's just I don't know. You'd have to just find somebody that has endless cap of money, because it's not like if you're a Jordan collector, you're not going to pay $1 million for this card, because you can just get a Jordan auto for 10 grand probably.
Well,
So
you're probably going after all as many PSA 10 rookie cards as you possibly could.
exactly, and that would have been the easy pick to put on here, but we chose not to go grade it, so we just let them out. But dude, I just like, oh my gosh, you're right. Just that card would probably be worth 500,000. It's just like those Jordan, LeBron, and Bird. Like, get out of here. And then you go to Magic Johnson and Jerry West,
I mean, that's
Hakeem
what I'm saying.
Olajuwon.
Even if you take like sections of this card, just in three signature sections, I mean,
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
still
even
killer
that's
autos
probably
just
yeah
in
that
those three.
yeah. It's like that one's probably the worst three right there. But like even these three, like Penny, Irvin, and Mourning, like get out of here. It's just stupid. Stupid. The only thing that might be dumber than this card would be this one.
How did I know he was going to have that on there? I knew he was.
Oh my gosh, dude.
The
That is
double logo,
just
man.
I mean, it's the card everybody always wanted, and somebody has this card. But yeah, the finals logo man auto of Jordan and Kobe is just wow. I mean,
And,
but that's like the
and
cool
that's
thing
on card and on
on
card
card.
autograph. Yeah.
Yep. That means both of those men had this card and wrote their autograph on it. And the cool thing also is that these were game worn, not like they do today with the like player worn memorabilia. So it could have been like they could have put it on at like a photo shoot. Like these were worn in games by both of these guys who outside of LeBron, which I know a lot of people don't like LeBron, but like these are the two goats of our lifetime. Like as far as I'm concerned, like you got Bird Magic, but like I feel like that's pushing before our time. I mean, they were around when we were, you know what I mean? Like, but like we grew up with these guys. Like, hey, these are the upper echelon
That's
guys
what I'm
of
saying. If
all of
you're saying
sports.
like, you know, in 80s to 90s era, these are the two that you're going. Those are the two that stood out. Yeah.
Just ridiculous, dude. So yeah,
Well,
this is a
it reminds me,
101.
just not to get off too off subject, but have you
Yeah.
seen what the Tops did with the baseball this year with the
Mm-mm.
patches on all the rookie cards, all the rookies that says
No, I
the
haven't.
MLB debut? They're on the jerseys. If you watch a game, anytime a rookie's playing, he'll have a patch on this thing that says MLB debut. That's going to be their next set. They're taking all those patches off those jerseys at the end of the year, and they're going in the packs.
No,
So when
man.
you get to pull the rookies,
Gunner.
game worn patches that you're seeing on TV all year long or in the set.
That's freaking wild, dude. I'm
I'm
gonna have to
guessing
check
they're
that
all going
out.
to be 1-on-1s. They would have to be.
Yeah.
Or well, you know, I got. Well, I mean, I guess you got home and away jerseys, but I guess they can get away with that. But so it should be interesting. I mean, I thought that was a neat concept. I don't know how much Tops paid to have the MLB to go along with that, but you know,
Well, it makes sense because what Fanatics bought Tops, and Fanatics does all of the MLB
well, true,
memorabilia. So
true.
it makes sense that they would come up with something like that. That's pretty.
I guess it just gives them something so they could, you know, stuff in the packs to cause a fury on those rookies. So
On
yeah,
that money.
so you're going to have like these MLB debut patches and the rookie
That's
cards
sick.
on one of the upcoming sets. So
It'll probably be called Tops gold plated, and it'll be $8,000 a pack.
yeah,
It'll be some stupid shit like that. But if they really wanted to get people back into collecting, then they wouldn't do that. Like I feel like they would, you know, the youth is what makes cards collecting happen. So it's like you can't put the price that high. I don't understand it. And I think that's the main reason that we have so many old cards on our list because it's
it's
like,
because they're feeding the current market. I mean,
you know,
they really are. I mean, so you've got a bunch of people our age that have a bunch of expendable money and they're eating it up right now.
Yep.
So,
they
you
are.
know, it would have to die like it did in the 90s for it to flatten back out again. You know what I mean?
You're right.
I mean, you're the wax pack era, which they consider the junk era. I mean, you know, I was a part of it. By the end of the 90s, I was done. You know, I was
Yeah.
just, you
You
know,
just had
I mean,
piles of junk.
right. None of the cards were worth anything. You know, it was like I'm, you know, spending 5 or 6, and then you start seeing, like I said, $10 packs, $20 packs, and they were starting to skyrocket in price. And it was just like, you know, for the next best thing. And I just think, you know, that whole era, and it stopped, you know. And you even saw that in Pokemon too. You know,
Yeah,
it was
that's
so
true.
it wasn't just sports card. It was in TCG Magic. Magic fell off huge for a
It
while,
did.
and now it's, you know, resurged, and you know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Same way. I mean, they just had their 25th anniversary packs, which actually I'm thinking about picking up that 25th anniversary box. Did you see what they did with that?
I
And
didn't
I don't know.
see, but
I know nothing about Yu-Gi-Oh, but they reprinted, I guess, the original 6 packs. But apparently, I don't know if you can tell the difference between the reprints or not. But so I don't know. But they look
I
pretty
know there
cool.
was a big market for it, and there still is. There's still tons of people that are into Yu-Gi-Oh. So it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's only a matter of time. I think
And then
Pokemon.
Magic just had their 25th anniversary, or you know, whatever it was, 30th
Well, if
anniversary. It
they
might have
put
been
some Black Lotus in them bad boys, I'll try
they
it
did.
out.
It
Did
was
oh
yeah, but the box was like starting at $1,000. Like
oh
I mean, for the collector box started at MSRP was like $1,000.
that's
I don't know
wild.
what's in it, but I know that there are some reprints of some of the big cards from Alpha and Beta.
Yeah, and
So
if you think about Magic and like just cool looking cards, man, Magic really did kill it with some cards back in the day. They had some pretty dope cards. I'm not gonna
I went
lie.
back
Like
and looked at like the first like 4 editions of that set, and I'm like, I had that card. I had that
I
card.
had that card. I did the same thing,
You
man. It
know,
makes you sick.
or
You're like,
whatever.
oh
And I'm
my
like, I'm
god.
looking at them. I'm like, some of the artworks and some of these cards are actually pretty badass.
Yeah, no, they are.
And
They definitely
I
are.
didn't play to collect. I mean, I didn't buy to collect. I played, and my best friends
Me
played.
too.
That's
Me
I
too.
got sucked into it that way.
Me too.
Didn't everybody was playing it, so I started playing it too. So
Which is funny because I never played Pokemon. I didn't. I honestly really never played
see,
it.
I
Even
think I was pre Pokemon for me because
yeah,
Pokemon wasn't until '98, and I was
yeah, Magic was way yeah. It was like
I was
95, 96. We were pulling Magic
yeah,
and
I was
playing
saying
that.
that
Yeah.
between '93 and '96 is when we were playing. So it was, I remember the when I stopped playing, fourth edition was just coming out.
Yep. No, Alpha. I remember we played Alpha and Beta. Definitely played it then, and man, there was just so much like Sylvian Forest. I still remember the names of the cards. It's
Arabian
just
Nights, I think, was just
yes,
coming.
yes. It's
Yeah.
just like Arabian Nights. Oh my god, it was sick.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, if I could like open and play with those cards, still, I'd probably still be in the Magic because it was fun. And
Yeah.
speaking of Woodbrook and baseball cards, etc., they had the Magic, and that
Yeah.
was what got me. It's funny because Magic's why I got Dad to go to baseball cards, etc. And then I actually started getting into baseball cards there. So I'm hoping that's what happens with Noah with the Pokemon. It's like he's coming in for Pokemon. I'm hoping he's gonna try out the sports cards too.
I
But
think they kind of go hand in hand because I
they
was the
do.
same way. Like I was baseball. I collected baseball, football, basketball, even NASCAR at some point.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and then we did Magic as well. I never got into Pokemon, but again, that didn't start until 98, 99. So it was a different era for me. I was graduating high school by then.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and that was towards the end of me collecting cards. So I kind of missed all of that for me. So, by the time Pokemon took off, I really didn't understand it. And I was like, oh, it's another game like Magic. And I hadn't touched Magic in years. Kind of kicking myself considering, what those Magic cards and the vintage Pokemon cards sell for.
Stupid.
So it is what it is. But I mean, I remember it. And then, like I said, got back in it with my kids. So it's kind of come full circle. So we'll see.
It is. And well, that's all we got for tonight, folks. But we're gonna get full circle again with it next week because we're gonna be doing the Paldea Evolved preview, and then we're gonna also take a look at Obsidian for Pokemon. So had a fun time with basketball. Before we clear out, who's gonna win the finals? Who's it gonna be? Got Nuggets, you got Heat. Who you going with?
I don't know, man. I think the Nuggets have been sitting too long, man.
I do too. They're way better.
I think the Heat's going to jump out first. We'll
Yep.
see, just because they're coming fresh off these wins. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be like to be honest with you, I would not be surprised if we go 6-7 games. So
Me either. But remember, everybody thought the Lakers were going to take them full 7 games, so they might just be coming for the throats. So it's like I keep saying that. It's like in my mind, I'm like, I think Miami could do it, but I also would not be surprised if the Nuggets just.
I'm not. I would not be shocked if Nuggets win. So
now, if Miami wins 4-0, I will be shocked. That I will.
I don't think they'll be not against Denver.
Not against Mr. Yoka. All right, brother. Well, have a good night, guys, and we're glad to be back. We'll figure out what's going on with Bustin' Bakers on Facebook because that's wild. But we'll be back next week either way, right here on YouTube. So check us out. Appreciate it, Big A. You have a good night, brother.
You too, Bo.
All right, man. Take it easy.